Makkah and Medina are for Muslim community. Hence, Muslims should willingly hand over the whole entire site.
Ram World Raisers, Sabine and Roger here, countdown to the Ram Mandir inauguration. Today we're going to watch an interview with the archaeologist 𝐂𝐻 Muhammed on the Ram Janmabhoomi.
Oh yeah, so this is going to be good. I believe this is the archaeologist that discovered the truth of the original Ram temple in Ayodhya that was at this place, and then due to his findings and his facts led to eventually, the Ram Mandir having its rightful place where it belongs, at the birthplace of Lord Ram in Ayodhya. So my first question, however, is his name. 𝐂𝐻 Muhammed sounds like a very Muslim name. So let me know, is he a Muslim? And if he is, hats off. Sticking to the truth and letting the archaeological findings guide the way. So let's find out all about this. Here we go. Hit that like button. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already, because we are deep diving into Sanatan Dharma.
We are joined by 𝐂𝐻 Muhammed, former Regional Director, North Archaeological Survey of India, who was part of the team of archaeologists in the 70s that had carried out the first excavation of the site between 76 and 77. 𝐂𝐻 Muhammed ji, Namaste, Jai Hind, and thank you very, very much. You first witnessed the remains of the Ram temple under the Babri Masjid in Ayodhya. So when you first visited the site as an archaeologist, what was your impression, first impression, given the long-running religious dispute around this? And also, can you share with us some of the important details unearthed?
Yes, sir. Because, I had participated in the excavation in the year 1976-77 under Professor B.B. Lal. Because Professor B.B. Lal was earlier the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. And he had taken up this site for the excavation work. And before the excavation, we go for exploration of the site. And when we went inside, we saw that the pillars on which the mosque was standing, that had a number of Hindu symbols on it. And especially Purna Kalasha was engraved on that one, which is one of the Ashtamangala Chinnas in Hinduism. That is 8 auspicious symbols in Hinduism. So it was very clear for us that it was part of the Hindu temple. And if you have any doubt, even now you can go to 𝐂𝐻𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐴 Islam, which is just by the side of Qutub Minar, where you can see a number of things like this one. You can see Purna Kalasha, you can see a number of idols also in that one. Not 10, 15, 16, there are a number of things even now there. So that is one thing. And then there were certain sculptures also which was later on defaced. That was also observed during our survey work. Then the third point was when Professor Lal excavated the western side and the southern side of it. The pillar bases on which the pillar should have stood, that was also excavated. And along with that one, a number of sculptures, that is terracotta sculptures that were associated with the temple was also excavated. So these were the 4 points on the basis of which Professor Lal had come to the conclusion that there was a temple before the mosque. But the problem was, because that was 1976-77, it was not a big issue at that time, although it was some controversial point, it was not a very big issue at that time. What these communist historians of JNU and Aligarh Muslim University has done is, they went to the press and they gave a statement from their own side that Lal had excavated the site and he did not get anything associated with the temple at all. And hence there is no question of handing over the site to the Hindu community for the construction of the temple. So that was their statement. First of all, none of them were archaeologists, they were all simply historians. None of them had visited the site during the excavation. None of them had visited the site even after the excavation also. And they had no competence to speak on a technical subject like archaeology. So Professor Lal had to defend himself. He came forward and for the first time he gave a statement saying, no, we have excavated and we have got a number of things associated with the temples. At that time I was working in Madras. So I gave a statement from there, from Madras. No, I had worked along with Professor Lal and whatever Professor Lal has stated,
Right.
that is fully correct, and the statement of the communist historians are completely false. That was one thing, one part of my statement, and it was published in Indian Express on 15th of December 1990.
1990.
And the second part of my statement was that Ayodhya is as important for Hindus as Makkah and Medina are for Muslim community. Hence, Muslims should willingly hand over the whole entire site for Hindu community to construct a magnificent temple.
Okay.
So this was totally my statement, which of course, because it was the whole entire communist group was completely shattered. They had no reply at all for these things, because it is, a man who participated in the excavation was speaking here, and that to a man who is Muslim by religion, he is speaking.
Right.
And these people had made the statement without coming to the site and without seeing the site, and they had no domain competence to speak on a technical subject like archaeology. So that created the first stage, this one. And the second excavation was carried out under Dr. B.R. Mani. That was Dr. Mani is a seasoned archaeologist again, like Professor B.B. Lal, and he is a very sober person also.
Yes.
So in the second excavation, we had got only 12 pillars at that time, but in the second excavation, more than 50 pillars bases were excavated.
Nice.
And that too in 17 rows, stating that it was a magnificent temple.
And huge.
So that was one thing. And the second thing is a number of things associated. The Amalka, on the top of the temple there would be Amalka, just below the Kalasha. That was excavated from below the mosque. And then a number of other architectural members associated with Shigara of the temple. That was also excavated from below the mosque. And then there was a pranala. Pranala means every day you have to bathe the main deity. And that Abhisheka Jala goes through the pranala. And that is always Magara pranala. What is Magara? Magara is crocodile. Crocodile in Hinduism is a symbol of river Ganga.
Right.
Oh.
So that was excavated.
So all these excavations happened, Dr. K.K. Muhammed, but you once mentioned to somebody, Loka samagramevapi sampasyan kartum arhasi, chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita. What was that about?
Gita.
That was to R.C. Tripathi. He was the Secretary of Culture.
Ji.
So, because he questioned me, because my probation period was not over at that time. I was working in Madras at that time. That was when I was deputy superintending archaeologist. So he questioned me, how did you make such a statement? It is such a sensitive issue. You should not have made a statement like that because you are a government servant.
Brave.
And he was right, perfectly right.
Courage.
He should have taken action against me. And he, along with him, Dr. M.C. Joshi was also there. He was the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. So I just quoted this one sentence from the scriptures. Loga samgrahame vapi sambhashyan kartum arhasi. Sir, I had no other intention, but I just wanted to speak certain things for the welfare of the country, for the betterment of the humanity. That was my intention.
Yes.
So that actually further provoked him. He told me,
Oh no!
I am a Brahmin from this one, Allahabad, and now you are teaching me Sanskrit. I am going to suspend you right now here itself. So then I quoted another Sanskrit sentence. I said, So dharme nidanam shreya. I had done my duty, and for which even death is also welcome.
Acceptable. Same.
Death is also welcome.
He did
So
his
that
dharma.
completely changed the man, because he said, well, Mr. Muhammad, you have done the right thing. It is known to all of us, but it should have been spoken by an archaeologist. You are an archaeologist. It should have been spoken by a Muslim archaeologist, and happily you are a Muslim archaeologist.
Nice. He is Muslim.
Mahadevan was there. He was very much senior to this one, Tripathi, and then some of the professors from this one Madras University. They intervened, and my suspension was converted into a kind
promotion.
of transfer from Madras Circle to Goa Circle. So that was the thing.
But 𝐂𝐻 Mohammed ji, you know,
Transfer.
you not only can quote the scriptures, the Hindu scriptures, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, but you also have, and you understand Islam.
Wow.
Let me ask you,
Love it.
currently the issues under litigation, Gyanvapi and Krishna Janmabhoomi, what's your opinion there?
Oh, Krishna. Oh, like what?
Now, actually, these two places also. I have worked in all these places. In the other place also, that is Gyanvapi also, and then Mathura also. And these three places, are again as important for Hindu community as Makkah and Medina are for
The same
Muslims.
thing happened in other places.
So
other
this
temples.
is a right time for the Muslim community. They should willingly hand it over to Hindu community for constructing a magnificent temple.
Do it.
Because you have historical evidences there. There is a book known as Maasire Alangiri.
Yes.
Maasire Alangiri was, that was written during the time of this one Aurangzeb, in which he has spoken. I mean, the author of the book. So he has spoken about the destruction of both these places. And it is very well evident also. Anybody who visits all these places is very well evident also.
No, so that's what I want to understand. Political leaders wanting to inflame passions. They're saying Masjid Shaheed ho gaya, mosques have been dug up, Masjid khod di gayi, etc. Do you agree with such people?
No, I am totally against it. Because, Masjid Shaheed ho gaya, ye sab jo na, they could have said earlier, but now it is not like that. Because, the big problem is there and the country has to settle this issue. And for settling the issue, it is both the communities, whether it is Hindus or Muslims, they should come together. They should not use that kind of provocative words like this. Masjid Shaheed ho gaya, ya dusra bhi shaheed hone wale hai. These are certain historical events. And I admit the fact that, when the Islam came to India, a number of temples were destroyed. And Muslims also, I feel that Muslims also should admit it. And that will give a healing touch to the Hindu community also.
Beautiful.
So that healing touch has to start from the Muslim community. So it is an opportunity for them in order to understand their own background also, and also provide a healing touch to the Hindu community.
My final question, 𝐂𝐻 Mohammed ji, with the promise that we will continue to have more conversations thus, that who is Ram for Bharat? Why is Ram in every corner of our country?
Good question.
Yes, because Ram is a unifying point and he is a Maryada Purusha also. A Maryada Purusha, that is Shri Ram. And he is a unifying force not only from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, but also of the entire Asia. You go to Bali, there you have got Ramayana is there.
Yes.
Go to Indonesia. Go to this one, other countries like Indonesia, Malaysia,
Thailand,
then Vietnam, Cambodia. In all these countries, the story is there. Even Malaysia also. Malaysia is an Islamic country.
Correct.
But they are enacting the whole Ram Leela. So he is a unifying force for the entire the Asian countries. And Allama Iqbal had said once, within quote, है राम के वजूद पे हिंदुस्तान को नाज, है राम के वजूद पे हिंदुस्तान को नाज, अहले नजर समझते हैं उनको इमाम हिंद.
जी.
What?
So it is Imam Hind. That is what Iqbal had said, and Iqbal was the philosophical father of Pakistan.
Yes.
So we should understand that he represents for the country. He is a Maryada Purusha. And we should respect him like that, and we should follow on his footprints. That is the best policy for the country.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
Jai Shri Ram and Dhanyavad KK Muhammed. What a beautiful being he is.
Oh yeah, I think he might be my favorite Muslim.
We don't know many, so.
Yeah, we don't know much about.
But still.
But he seems like a very knowledgeable and informed, and it actually gives me hope that, yeah, the Muslim community can, understand and begin to understand more clearly. And I'm sure there's a lot of Muslims like him. So just regular people, in the West and in other parts of the world who aren't Muslim, when we think about it, we think about, like the extremists, right? The violent ones that are doing all of this terror in the world. So there is that, right? There's also terrorists from other religious denominations, but for the most part, I'm just being honest, we as Westerners, that's kind of how you perceive it. But in reality, we got to kind of think that there's probably way more Muslims like this than there are the other kinds. So knowledgeable enough to really admit that, okay, so my belief system, which is still just a mental construct of adopting a way of thinking about, the universe and God and how things work, and pointing to an ultimate reality. So that's fine, right? But another person, another group of people will believe in the ultimate reality as well, but in different ways. So he's very open-minded, and he seems like he studied the Hindu scriptures, and then he knows, okay, what does Lord Ram represent? Well, Lord Ram is God in human form, and he's a unifying force, and he's all over the Asian countries. And yeah, the Muslims need to understand that, and then also admit it's about being responsible and admitting that, okay, in the past our religion did some things where, of course, we were in a very medieval times. It was all about conquest and conquering, and that was like a good thing for a country to go out there and expand and get more lands and subjugate other religions and cultures. And that was just the norm. That's what a lot of these Abrahamic religions in particular were doing at that time. But at the same time, so you got to admit that, okay, so maybe our religion did some things in the past that weren't the best. And then now these archaeological findings are pointing that out. And then so we can hand them back to the original owners, which isn't a big deal because I know the Indian government is very much, on board with relocating these mosques, which is what happened in this situation. The Muslims were given a really big piece of land nearby Ayodhya to rebuild their mosque. Because
I didn't know.
Yeah, and the big ones that he was talking about is apparently the original Shri Krishna temple. So I don't know too much about this yet. We'll explore it more in the future. But the same thing happened there, where the original Shri Krishna temple was also taken over by the invaders, destroyed, and then a mosque was built on it. So the original Shri Krishna temple isn't in the original place. And that's So that's what he's talking about. There's the big three. So there's the Ram Mandir, and then there's the Shri Krishna temple, and then I don't know anything about this one, but I heard that there's the same with the Shiva temple somewhere, like the big main one. There's also a mosque on top of it.
Stop it.
So anyways, it's about admitting, this is kind of the rise of spirituality is coming back into the world, and there's a new wave of conscious understanding of, not relying solely on a book or a scripture to understand everything. We're using the books and the scriptures, as a guiding light, but still we have to use our discernment to understand, okay, this book is teaching the truth like this, and these books are teaching the truth like this, and these ones are teaching it like that. How does it all work together? Because there's only one absolute source of absolutely everything. There's no denying that. And then fighting about the names and the books and who's right and who's wrong and we're better, that just has to end, right? Yeah. So if we have some Muslims, as like this man in particular, for example, and I'm sure there's lots of them, that understand that, right?
Absolutely.
Which is great. And he's quoting the Hindu scriptures is fantastic.
Wow. Thank you for recommending this video. And we're gonna move on now. We want to learn more.
We're going to keep crushing it. So thanks for being with us.
Yes.
Let us know everything down in the comments. If you saw that we were lost at any points, there was some language that we didn't really understand, just let us know what's up.
Thank you so much for your support and celebrating the Ram Mandir with us.
Oh, yeah.
We love you.
Peace.